But the problem, as outlined in the statement delivered on behalf of President Jammeh, is always about the wrong priority, where bigger nations concentrate major spending on defense rather than social improvement programs. This only helps to deepen the poverty meter level and compromise the sanctity of the human being.
The current mad rush to acquire lethal weapons, weapons of mass destruction inclusive, and the West's total disregard for the sanctity of human life outside of the West makes the dream of sustainable development an elusive one. As I'm talking to you every day, more than 98% of scientific research, where trillions of dollars are spent, is mainly on military and defense technology. Less than 10% of the current scientific and technological breakthroughs is on biomedical or medical technology. I'm convinced, therefore, beyond any reasonable doubt, that war surely does not enhance sustainable development, but sustainable destruction and endemic and sustainable poverty.
The President's statement tells a poetic truth in such a rhythm that impacts total silence within the hall where the leaders gathered for the conference.
For us to achieve sustainable development globally, therefore, first there must be the political and moral will on the side of all world leaders to abandon the path of warmongering and tread the path of global peace and justice, so that instead of military uniforms that make soldiers invisible to the enemy, on which millions of dollars have been wasted on research, we will have clothing that will make human beings invisible to malaria-carrying mosquitoes, as we all know that malaria is indeed the #1 killer disease in most parts of the developing world. Instead of super bombs, mothers and fathers of all bombs, we want smart and antiviral vaccines. The mothers and fathers of all vaccines, of course, that would make humans resistant or immune to diseases like asthma, cancer, Parkinson's, TB, AIDS, diabetes, etc. Instead of all-terrain deadly military tanks, we want super smart all-terrain agricultural tractors, planters, weeders and seeders, and combine harvesters.
The Vice President concluded by calling for a youth-led action against exploitation, which is the hallmark of the type of pressure we are faced with, making the march towards a green economy rather difficult. Leaders have by now agreed a text regarded by activists as far too weak to be an effective result or tool to be able to put society on a more sustainable path. Has the Gambian experience been reflected in this text?
Yes, it has been reflected in the text because we believe in the sovereignty, we believe in what we are doing, we do it bottom up. This is what we have at home. These are our policies that are in place, we implement them. But if it comes to the multilateral system, you see that is where the complexity comes in. When it comes to the multilateral system, all of them are in, but with weak language that you have noticed. The language is very weak, of course. So our issues are embedded in those texts with the weak language, but we'll have to do further work. We are not accepting, I didn't want to say that, we are not accepting all those that are in the text. Of course, we need to refine it and work on it very, very seriously. So, and especially now the green economy, of course, that is the one that has caused a lot of controversy due to the fact that many people do not understand it. What is it? But we agreed with it as developing countries as a theme, and that is where the first thing is coming from.
This too compromised the institutional framework for sustainable development, just as it did the first core subject of discussion, green economy, in the context of sustainable development and poverty eradication. This agreement and controversy now looms large also outside the summit hall, cordoned off by UN security personnel to keep away environmentalists who struggle to highlight the plight of the communities they represent. Abdul Njai, GRTS.
Tourism ministers from ECOWAS member countries are meeting in Banjul for the first time to identify factors hindering the development of the sector in the sub-region. The program declared open by the Minister for Basic and Secondary Education on behalf of President Jammeh. The Smiling Coast of Africa is playing host to the first ever ECOWAS Ministers of Tourism meeting. Born out of an initiative to foster cooperation and partnership between member countries, The meeting will serve as a platform where ministers responsible for the tourism industry will pave the way for the amalgamation of resources to collectively develop the sector in the sub-region.
This is the first time ever that tourism ministers of ECOWAS member states are meeting to look at issues of common concern in regards to the development of sub-regional tourism.
The Gambia has been involved in the tourism business for over 4 decades, and over the years the industry has evolved progressively to become an important factor in development and a strategic pillar of the economy. This, Minister Job Njai believes, is largely based on the support and interventions of President Jammeh, who has over the years been the bedrock of all tourism-friendly policies and initiatives. Fatumas Job Njai said tourism cannot be promoted without peace and security.
This is due mainly to the myriad of appropriate policies and strategies that have been designed and implemented in critical areas of product development, destination marketing, quality control, and human resource development. Above all, the glorious peace and tranquility that exist in the Smiling Coast continues to contribute in no small way to the gains that have been registered over the years. And of course, thanks to the support that we continue to enjoy from our dear leader, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya AJJ Jammeh, by creating the enabling environment for the optimum development of tourism.
Ahmed Hamid is the ECOWAS Commissioner for Trade, Customs, Industry, Mines, Free Movement and Tourism, and he believes that sustainable tourism can only be achieved if member countries amalgamate resources and exploit the full tourism potential the region has to offer. He lamented on some of the major problems that serves as a barrier to effective tourism development, of which cumbersome policies and laws are dominant. Ahmed Hamid commended the Gambian leader, a man he says has over the years proven without doubt his commitment and dedication to developing not only his country but the sub-region as a whole. He described President Jammeh as a man who is committed to the integration of ECOWAS and plays a pivotal role in all sectors of the sub-regional body. Fatlamin Faye presided over the opening on behalf of President Jammeh, and she believes that the West African sub-region is endowed with diverse natural and cultural attractions and can surpass expectation if resources are judiciously utilized.
Critical and in-depth glance at the West African sub-region reveals that there is a treasure trove of both natural and man-made attraction in abundance, including a plethora of world-class tourism attractions ranging from quality hotels and serene beaches to sites of historical and cultural importance, not only to our countries, but humanity at large. In a nutshell, the West African sub-region is well endowed with diverse natural and cultural attractions that could render our community a tourist haven in Africa.
Officials say tourism is becoming increasingly diversified with growing probability of assuming a regional dimension, and therefore the need to think globally, act locally and plan regionally is crucial in the attainment of the desired objectives and results. The platform therefore is expected to help in achieving unification of products to a global audience, offer variety and satisfy the needs of the visitors, whilst at the same time expedite regional integration through tourism. For Grts News, I am Esther Mane. The International Monetary Fund and Gambia Bankers Association have released a report detailing the economic outlook for sub-Saharan Africa. The flagship publication of the IMF improves cross-country analysis and spillover effects. Louis Mendy has more on that.
The world in recent times is experiencing global financial turmoil, especially after the collapse of the U.S. investment bank, the Lehman Brothers, in 2008. The effect of this financial chaos is keeping the International Monetary Fund and members of the Gambia Bankers Association on their laurels to curb the menace. The economic experts recently gathered to analyze factors responsible for the financial stress on sub-Saharan Africa financial systems after findings were done on the episode by the IMF.
For the past 2 years, or since the crisis started, our focus has mainly been on growth. And what has puzzled many observers including development practitioners with Africa this time, is that grow